Nigeria has finally succeeded in halting the enforcement of the $11 billion arbitration award in favor of Process and Industrial Developments Limited, P&ID. This is happening after over 5 years of legal fireworks. In a judgment delivered by email, Justice of the Commercial Courts of England and Wales, Robin Knowles, upheld Nigeria's prayer on the ground that the ill-fated gas processing contract was obtained by fraud. A private arbitration tribunal had on January 31st, 2017 ordered Nigeria to pay $6.6 billion to P&ID plus interest beginning from March 20th, 2013, with the interest rate fixed at 7% amounting to $1 million a day. The potential payment had accumulated to over $11 billion before the verdict. In the meantime, Nigeria's President Gbolahan Tinubu has described as a victory for Africa Nigeria's win in the $11 billion P&ID Limited Arbitration Award. The President commended Justice Robin Knowles of the Commercial Courts of England and Wales for prioritizing the merits of the case above all other considerations. He said the landmark judgment proves conclusively that nation-states will no longer be held hostage by economic conspiracies between private firms and solidarity corrupt officials and conspire to extort and indebt the various nations they swear to defend and protect. The President also acknowledged the role of the Federal Ministry of Justice and the Office of the Attorney General in the process of defending Nigeria's interest in the case. Now, joining me on the news to discuss this is a public policy commentator, Gbolahan Olojede. Thank you so much for your time. He's joining from Lagos, Nigeria. Gbolahan, thank you once again for joining in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now, can you kindly give us an overview of how the case started? Just to set the ball in motion.
Okay, this is a very unfortunate situation that, well, it ended up positively for Nigeria, though, because I don't know what we will have been saying by this time if $11 billion has been slammed against us. So sometimes in 2010, Nigeria had awarded this gas plant deal to the company called P&ID. At the heart of that deal is that P&ID will set up a gas plant somewhere in Calabar, and that Nigeria will provide gas for that company. Then the two entities, P&ID and Nigeria, will share income from the operations of the gas plant. But this was not to be, unfortunately so. P&ID in itself, before that time, has not been known to have established anything in the gas space. It is more or less an SPV that was set up probably for the purpose of deals like this in a place like Nigeria. It corrupted everybody that was corruptible along the pathway and was able to finally get the deal. It never built any plant, but it went ahead to sue the Nigerian government for not providing gas for the plant that was never built anyway. Interestingly, it continued along the path of corrupting everybody and anything along its path, and eventually got an arbitral award of about $6.6 billion, which by the time you put on the interest, eventually culminated in about $11 billion. It's a very shameful narrative for the elite and government workers that are involved in that scam. Because I just imagine if this thing has turned against us, how would they feel to look at Nigeria in our current circumstance being slammed with $11 billion? How will it feel to them? And I just hope that we will use this as a learning point to take a new turn about how we treat this nation.
All right, Gbolahan, we'll get to the part of course, lessons learned. But we also understand that the Nigerian government, through its lawyer, Mark Howard, claims its own officials were accessory to what many have described as one of the largest scams in history. Now, wasn't this a bit worrisome? And also, let's talk about private arbitration. Is it an appropriate form for resolving investor-state dispute like this one?
Yeah, most contracts involving organizations that are international, you have what you call the dispute clause, which will usually be by arbitration. And most international organizations will choose a neutral ground for that arbitration. A very popular ground is London, of course. So that is not a major issue. It's a regular thing when you're dealing with organizations that are have their origin from outside of Nigeria.
All right. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has hailed the UK court verdict just as many Nigerians are happy. What are the prospects of this particular verdict?
Well, the case is more or less concluded. It's been established that P&ID set out to defraud Nigeria. It has been involved in all sort of fraudulent and corrupt practices in the way it has operated, and it will never be able to raise any other issue out of it. So I think Nigeria can say it is uhuru as far as this $11 billion transaction is concerned. I hope, though, that some of the actors that are involved will be able to get them punished. I know some of them have been before the courts for a while now. But there are other ones that we're not hearing their names. Maybe there are no evidences to prosecute them. But those ones for which we have evidences, I hope we get to get them sanctioned appropriately for where they have left the nation on the brink of insolvency. If we have been slammed $11 billion today, this country will have literally become insolvent, bankrupt, literally.
Now, before I let you go, Gbolahan, what is the fallout of this in the aspect of lessons learned going forward, particularly when it comes to contractual agreement?
I hope every interested Nigerian can pick a copy of the book by Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. The title is Something is Difficult. I can't remember the name now. But he had a chapter dedicated to contracts in Nigeria and the way it goes. In that chapter, he was simply describing how we go into contract, and the contract are drafted in such a way Nigeria will default. Then it will go to court and we will settle. And then the people that were involved in all this sham will go back and be the one to share the proceeds of that award. There are several of those issues. And if you go into the books today, only God knows how much this country is owing in terms of similar contracts for which we have defaulted. Every year, continuously, we are making those payments. The only good part about this P&ID is that the Ministry of Justice was also involved in the eventual presentation that led to the solution. But we need to go into the way we draft our contract, put the country in harm's way, most of the time deliberately, so that the actors that are involved will go back and share the money. It is a strong message that we P&ID should be a lesson for all of us to learn.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Gbolahan Olojede, of course, public policy commentator. Thank you once again.